How to know if you guys have damaged hair. So it's pretty easy for some, but then there are some people who are not really familiar with it. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about all of that today in this video. The number one thing and the number one reason we have hair damage, and that is heat. Of course, if you're still getting your hair relaxed, it's chemicals. So heat and chemicals are like the main things that damages our hair, along with a bunch of other things, but those are the two things that I think of when I first think of damage. I always think of heat, chemicals. So if you're using heat or chemicals, then your hair more than likely is not at the healthiest that it can be, or it's completely damaged. Especially if you're relaxing your hair, then your hair is probably completely damaged. Not to say that it's not long, not to say that it is not like flowing down your back. I know people associate long hair with health, but those two are not, they don't go together. It doesn't, just because your hair is healthy doesn't mean that you're gonna have hair down your back. Just because your hair is down your back doesn't mean that it's healthy. So I wish that concept would just like disappear, but it's already out there. People already think it. People with long hair are just like flowing in health, and that's not true. Now, if you take care of your hair, of course it's going to grow, but if you have healthy plus long hair, that's when, you know, that's a combination that everyone wants to have. The first way to identify if your hair is not healthy or if it's damaged is if you have heat damage. Heat damage is going to, one, change the texture of your hair, and two, make your hair feel really brittle. So if you are experiencing a texture change, if you're going from really curly hair 1 minute, and then when you start using heat over the months, over the years, your hair texture goes to like a stringy, loose curl pattern, or a curl pattern where there's like straight ends, straight pieces here, straight pieces there, then you have damaged hair. If your hair feels very brittle when you run your hands through it, if it's not really soft, or if you have like really bushy ends, that is a result of brittle hair, and that's also a result of damaged hair, because if your hair is brittle, then it's easily broken. It doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it, so that's why it's appearing that way, and that's why it feels that way. Brittle hair, on the other end, can be fixed. You can actually fix brittle hair with like hair treatments, deep conditioners, stuff like that. So brittle hair can actually be restored. I've restored brittle hair, so I know that it could be done. Heat damage, on the other end, needs to be cut off. So most of the time, if you have heat damage, you have to cut that heat damage off. Next way to identify if you have unhealthy hair or if your hair is damaged is to look at the ends of your hair. Now, I wouldn't say that this means your hair is damaged, but if you have split ends, then your hair definitely is not at its healthy state. So you do want to cut it off so that your hair can be back to your healthy state. So the quickest way to get rid of split ends is to just chop them off. That hair is no longer functional and it needs to be chopped off. Now, some people cut their hair way too often. What was that? Okay. Some people cut their hair way too often. Some people take it way too far, cutting their ends like every week or something. I personally don't recommend that. Someone was commenting on my videos the other day and was saying that I never have like split ends when they see my hair. That's mainly because it's curly. I get split ends sometimes, or you know, I have to clip my ends sometimes. I don't clip my ends all the time because I don't want to just like be cutting off my ends just because, you know, it's that time of the month. So I don't follow a schedule. Whenever I see a piece of hair that is split, I cut them off. Now, I don't have any split ends right now because I cut my hair about two months ago. Yeah, about 2 months ago. And the reason why I don't have to cut my hair as often is because I just take really good care of the ends of my hair. So you guys see in my videos, I want you to really like look at my wash routines and pay deep attention to them, because everything that I do on those videos, I do that like in real life. So I'm not just putting out like videos for you guys. I do this stuff in real life. So Jamaican black castor oil, I put that on the ends of my hair. Now, a lot of people are like, why do people say Jamaican black castor oil fix split ends. I think that's kind of like a misconception because it doesn't fix your split ends, but it does restore your hair. So and it does prevent split ends from happening. So when you put it on the ends of your hair, you're basically like sealing your ends, and it's just making it really healthy and hard for split ends to show up, in my opinion. That's just what I've been doing. I'm just telling you guys things that I've been doing, and it's worked for me. So that's the reason why I normally don't experience a lot of split ends. In order to tell if you have split ends, just look at the ends of your hair. I always like straighten my curl out with my fingers, and if the ends are like split in 3 and 5 different ways, then that means that you have a split end and it needs to be chopped off. Next way to identify if your hair is damaged or unhealthy is if your hair is like tangling so bad. Now, I feel like people are going to take this and be like, that's not right. My hair tangles all the time and I have healthy hair. No, I'm talking about hair that just literally is like a mess. Even if you are in the shower, when you get out, like your hair, no matter what, how much you detangle it or whatever, it is just tangled all the time. And that's the type of hair that I would experience when I had heat damaged hair. When I was transitioning, my hair was like just knots everywhere. I would have a hairstyle for like one day, like a braid out for like one day, and I would be putting in a pineapple. I would be sleeping on a satin pillowcase, and I would still wake up and my hair would be like a disaster. And that was because my hair was extremely damaged and it was bundling up with the healthy hair or the new growth hair and my heat damaged hair. They were colliding together, creating a mess. So only way that you really know this situation well is if you're transitioning, because people who big chop cut off the damaged hair, they don't have to deal with 2 different textures, so it's not that bad for them, and they normally don't experience this. But if you're transitioning, then girl, you know what I'm talking about. So what I mean by that is like when your curls are dry, they don't streak up or they don't bounce back up. Like if you pull it down like this, it kind of just sits there, it doesn't move back up. Your hair should have some type of bounce to it. And even like if you're like just flowing in the sun, you should have some type of bounce to your hair. It shouldn't be really stiff. That's not how healthy hair acts. So if your hair is like very lifeless, not really moving, has a hard time achieving bounce, then you may be experiencing unhealthy hair. Next sign is misbehaving hair. Now I know some people are like, what, misbehaving hair? You know how you have those days where your hair just does not cooperate with you and you're like, man, like my hair, I know I have this happen to me. My hair just doesn't cooperate, and I know like then like I need to do an apple cider vinegar rinse, or I need to really clarify my hair because my hair is not cooperating with me. Now, we all have those times. But there's some people who experience that all the time. Their hair is just literally never cooperating with them, always misbehaving. That is a result of unhealthy hair, probably over color treated hair. That's mostly where that comes in most of the time with people who have color treated hair. Like they'll do styles that they used to do when they did not have color treated hair, and the styles don't look the same, or the hair is not taken the same way that it used to. Your hair is not accepting products the way that it used to. That's definitely a sign that your hair is no longer at its original state. It is no longer at its healthy state, and you probably have some type of damage going on. Hair porosity is another way to determine if your hair is damaged. I will put the site down below and also down in the description box for where you can find a test on how to test your hair porosity. It's actually on, the only one that I have done is the water test. So I'll put the one that I've actually experienced for myself down in the description box. I'm not gonna go into hair porosity really deeply because it's a lot. Just to sum it all up, hair that is highly processed is more prone to being damaged. So basically, the curls don't properly absorb and maintain moisture, which results in dry and brittle hair. So you guys know how much I stress that moisture is super important. People who have damaged hair just normally can't keep moisture in their hair at all. It just leaves as soon as it enters, which is where the tangle hair comes from, and all of the other things follow behind that. So moisture is very important. If your hair is not maintaining it, then it might mean that your hair is damaged or that it's unhealthy, and you need to just keep doing a lot of treatments and things to get it back to its health. Last thing I wanted to mention is if you're noticing that your hair is falling out in like globs, if you have like tons and tons of breakage and hair loss, then there is something wrong there. Most of the time, I personally recommend that you change your diet. So things that you're eating, your inner body needs to be cleaned out, because it's not always just taking care of the outside of your body, it's also taking care of the inside of your body. So when you have like hair loss, hair breakage, in my opinion, you should always look at your diet. And of course you want to keep in mind what you're putting on your hair, but your diet is just as important, if not more important. Okay, so those were the signs of damaged or unhealthy hair. I do want to let you guys know that most of these things that I mentioned can be corrected unless it's gotten to the point of where you just have to cut your hair off. But either way it goes, even if you cut off your damaged hair, you're still going to have to work with your hair. And most of the time, a simple deep conditioner every 2 weeks, every week is going to definitely help your hair. Really strong wash routines, really strong routines, regimens are going to help your hair. Things that I have mentioned on this